Hey fella, Mattsi here. Okay, I get it. It's been a long time and you're thinking about jumping back into the Southern Plague Lands. I mean Kentucky. Fortunately for you, Uncle Mattsi is back with a brand new beginner's guide guaranteed to prepare you for the early game in Project Zomboid Build 42. When you start a new game, I recommend you pick Survivor. Just because I know some of you are going to see zombies and think that means you have to fight zombies. You are wrong. And those same people are going to assume that you are built for the apocalypse. You're not. That's why I'm here. Next, location. I prefer somewhere like Riverside, but Rosewood is a good option too. Now, if you don't gel well with either of those options, you can pick whatever you want. I'm not your dad anymore. One divorce later, you will be introduced to this menu. Character creation. For eons, since the dawn of time, this menu has been the biggest time sink in any video game that allows it. Final Fantasy XI's measly 700 hours is nothing compared to the eternities I've spent customizing my perfect avatar. I liked this better, actually. Now, for a beginner like you, not a veteran like me, I would argue you should throw yourself to the wolves. But you're watching a video and not playing the game, so I'm going to assume you want a decent build to get you started. Follow me here. Custom occupation used to be known as unemployed, and I assume custom occupation just doesn't hurt as much to hear. So pick that. Next, do as I say, not as I do. Take prone to illness, slow healer, weak stomach, fast metabolism, and low weight. For positive traits, take cat's eyes, outdoorsy, brave, organized, and strong. Do not take smoker if you are wanting to avoid combat, and you are wanting to avoid combat. Awesome. Hopefully I stay hidden. We will fight. We will fight. The smoker trait now makes your character cough randomly and impacts your endurance, as it should be, honestly. And I didn't know that going in. I am what is known as a knucklehead, a dummy, if you will. Otherwise, to sort out those negative traits you will be taking, here's what you're gonna do. Be very careful and eat every perishable food you can find. That's it, buddy. Look, this build isn't perfect, it's not even my favorite, but it's good to get your feet wet with the game and get used to the new combat system. That's not me saying you should fling yourself into a horde of zombies, that's me saying when, not if, when you get into combat, this build will help. Now once you spawn in, you're going to want to do a few things. Plop yourself down in front of the television for your allotted 5 minutes of screen time. The cooking channel is optional but recommended. And after that, find the nearest curtain and yank that fella down to turn it into your new backpack. I told you, we're not playing Build 41 anymore, this is big boy stuff. Now that you have a little more inventory space, grab non-perishable food, eat perishables as soon as you see them, and move through your house to search for valuable items, tools, weapons, medicines. Grab what you find, it's not incredibly important right now. Next, find a room with a decent amount of containers nearby each other. Usually this is going to be the kitchen, but sometimes you might get a really good room. Whatever you got. Once you have that room selected, begin organizing all of your junk drawers. Leave behind things like canned food, large tools, things that seem a bit situational. You don't have to lug all of that with you. Just make a note of where your stuff is and come back later. Absolute must-haves on hand are ripped sheets, which can be made from tearing up clothing or most fabrics, some fresh food, a container of drinkable water, a pen or pencil, and 1 to 2 weapons. That's all you need when you leave your house this early in the game. Now, earlier I mentioned the cooking channel. Now, the time frame for Life and Living goes a bit like this. For the first 9 days, at 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m., it will air various shows, mostly things that you can craft, sometimes fishing. So go ahead and catch that as many times as you can. I was dumb and did not catch the carpentry show. Do not be like me. You're going to want carpentry to be level 4 as soon as you can manage, and we'll talk more about that later. But speaking of things you want, up to you here. If you catch the 6 p.m. show on day 6, you will learn how to make a trap crate, which will be incredibly useful for acquiring meat later. For the time being though, ignore that. Go find out what your neighbors were hoarding. And while you're out there, don't forget to sneak, press C. This will improve your chances of survival tremendously, I promise. Okay, did you find anything you needed? Food, tools, whatever, I don't care. That's great, sport. The items I look for the most are a saw, a screwdriver, a hammer, nails, skill books, and 1 or 2 more weapons for backup. Past that, everything else is just cake. You can ferret it away somewhere else. Just make a note of that on your map, or lug it back home. Your choice. Some items of note to pick up are as follows. Any bags worn on the back, like a duffel bag, a hiking bag, etc., medical items, repairing materials, garbage bags for crafting rain collector barrels later, lighters and matches, seed packets, gardening tools, can openers, beta blockers, and small electronics for dismantling. Did you catch all of that? Fantastic. So the next step is finding somewhere safe to sleep for the night. Generally, any house will do as long as there's a door, a curtain on the window, and a bed. Bonus points if you have a pillow. We are living large. If you have a couple hours before bed and you want to develop a skill or read a book, do it. Perfect time. Otherwise, there is no excuse not to be doing sit-ups. Combat is heavily based around your fitness and strength, and with the build I gave you, you already have enough strength. You just need to up the fitness a little bit. Oh no. Come on. Oh my god, no. Okay, that being said, once you decide on a house to call a home, get your organizational matters settled and start focusing on carpentry. This is very important. It is non-negotiable. You may take water and electricity for granted, but these companies won't take delinquent accounts and will stop working within 0 to 30 days. Something about not enough workers, no one paying their bills, etc., etc. And yeah, 0. Some of you know nothing but pain, and for that, all I can offer is Gara. I just got to the part of the show where he does the thing. Yeah, anyways. The basic plan goes like this. You chop trees, saw logs, make planks, board up your house, and then you're good.
Congratulations!
If you're in a secluded area, this will be very easy for you. If you are in the middle of town, have fun with your noise complaints. Now, if you're me and you get sidetracked at the slightest gust of wind, this takes way too long and you begin engaging in World of Warcraft muscle memory. I spent a solid minute wondering why I could not rotate my camera. Anyway, this house I've spawned in is a fantastic candidate for a base, given some renovations, but we don't need to worry about that right this second. The main worry is getting carpentry to level 4, like I said, so you can make the rain collectors. That takes care of the water, but for the power, you need to find a generator. You also need to find the magazine How to Use Generators, otherwise you cannot use generators. Good luck. Editing Mattsi here, I was entirely wrong about the generators. You can use them without the How to Use Generators magazine, you just need level 3 electrical. Oops. And sorting out food. Having a bunch of non-perishable food is good, but it's not as good as having a freezer full of perfectly butchered meat. By the way, you may be wondering why I haven't talked about the new animals. How do I milk you? You can ignore them for now, but I will come back to this in another video. At the moment, you don't need milk, but I do recommend filling any containers you find with clean drinking water and stashing those away for when the water goes out, just in case you didn't meet the deadline. I will say it's not easy to grind out 4 levels of carpentry, but it is rewarding. I believe somewhere deep down inside everyone there's a primal desire to board up your windows and scarcely leave your house. Definitely exists in me. Now, while you're holed up in your hole, you should probably negotiate vegetation. Not all of us were born with a green thumb, I sure wasn't, but I don't think there are many farmers out there right now. Meaning the responsibility of providing yourself with a balanced, healthy diet falls squarely on your stupid shoulders. Read some books, find some seeds, and get to planting. In that same vein, I recommend you get into trapping or fishing, whatever suits your mood at the time. You will need a freezer to keep all that meat you catch fresh over the course of, let's say, winter, for example. You need a freezer before you get to winter. That is another deadline. And that means that despite wanting to hole up forever in your little safe space, you have to go outside eventually. And when you do want to leave your house, your safest method of travel and most efficient way to lug large quantities of loot, like a freezer you might need before winter, is a car. Now, how do you get one? First, you need to decide what your budget is. Check your credit and hope that it's good. That's unlikely. What do you need in a car? Get pre-approved, visit a dealership, take one for a test drive, negotiate the price, consider stealing, don't do that. Go through the paperwork, finalize the deal, and there you go. car. Or just get lucky.
Ooh! Give me the keys.
Let's be honest for a second, everything I just said was entirely made up. You get a car by locating the one you want. Sports cars spawn in rich neighborhoods, heavy-duty vehicles spawn near industrial buildings and workplaces, and standard cars spawn where you standardly assume they would. You need to check the car's vehicle mechanics, like so, and hope it's mostly green. After that miracle aligns, you need to find a key or hotwire the vehicle. Taking the build I recommended, you're not hotwiring a vehicle. If you were a burglar pre-apocalypse, you start off knowing how to hotwire. Otherwise, you learn it via level 1 electrical and level 2 mechanics. If you don't have any of that, you need to find the keys either on the ground near the car, in a nearby building, in the vehicle itself, or on the body of a zombie in proximity to the car. I want to tell you not to run over zombies with your car, as this will heavily decrease the amount of time you get to spend going fast. However, Indie Stone added something to the game that makes this suggestion simply unfun and therefore unintuitive: ragdoll physics. It was once said that the best retro handheld is the one you have with you, and I think the same could be said for weapons in the zombie apocalypse. For example, I have the G350. Is it the best? No. Does it do everything I want it to do? No. But do I smile and get kind of excited like I did when I was a kid every time I picked up my Game Boy whenever I look at this thing covered in the blood of zombies? Yes. It's not one-to-one, but you get it. Don't get caught up in the details, because if you want the best weapon possible, you have to dive into the new crafting trees or get really lucky loot spawns, and both of those are outside the scope of this video. Get a baseball bat, an axe, a crowbar, I don't care. Just hit them with something. Use a rock if you have to. As the Bee Gees once posited, whether you're a brother or whether you're a mother, you're staying alive. Staying alive. A frighteningly large part of your survival will depend on how well you handle needles. Medicine is an important factor in staving off zombification, obviously. Make sure you have ripped sheets on hand to stop bleeding, eat plenty of food and drink water, and manage your temperature well. Ripped sheets and other bandages will stop bleeding, again, obviously. Having alcohol can help disinfect your wounds if they get that bad. But always keep enough bandages on you to swap out your dirty bandages. Always. I don't care if you need to rip up your socks to make bandages, just do it. Assuming you have a container with water in it, drinking water will happen automatically. Otherwise, you will have to find a clean source of water and manually do it. Now, I'm going to say something odd. Eat every time you get hungry. Do not let yourself fall into starving territory. Ever. When you see that noodle pop up, you eat something. It is that simple. Otherwise, you will suffer reduced carrying capacity and strength, severely reduced healing speed, and decreased body heat generation. I should not have to tell you why all of that is bad news bears. Another critical step in survival is sleeping. I generally sleep horribly. Something about having a toddler doesn't line up well with great stretches of restful sleep. Having a zombie outbreak, I feel, is the exact same. Someone always wants your attention, makes a ton of noise when they don't get it, wakes you up in the middle of the night with all their motion and noises, and won't let you go back to sleep on account of worrying about their future and if you can provide the right environment to raise them well. Anyways, being tired sucks. Just being drowsy reduces your melee damage by 50% and your vision. This is bad. Bad news bears. And now your temperature. The game starts you in the middle of the summer, so overheating during all your carpentry practice is very likely. Your only real options are to stop moving and wear less clothes. Of course, this also reduces your armor and increases your chance of being injured horribly, but it beats swamp cheeks every day of the week, so what are you gonna do? At this point, I really hope you're ready to go off and explore. Make more safe houses just in case you get stuck in a bad part of town. Take rations with you everywhere you go. Avoid forests and wide roads. It's easy to get lost. Call your mother. Don't eat yellow snow. You'll be fine. Anyway, thanks for taking the time to talk with your old uncle. I'll be back around for the next family get-together, I guess.